Again, and hello, it's Fo, and welcome back to Turbine City. Last time we'd been getting the backbone roads into this new tile. We'd unlocked it previously, but we've been working our way from the other side of the map to the centre. Now we're doing the same, working from this side into the centre. Just going to expand everything out a little bit until we get all these 5 tiles filled up. Then we'll see where we are with the population. We can sort of expand down towards the sea so we can get a harbour in at some point. That's the last sort of thing to construct. The seaside stuff, the harbour. We do still need the international airport and things like that. And the cargo hub that uses the train tracks and the aeroplanes. So a few bigger assets we've still got to place. Hopefully once we get down to the seaside and get all that cargo stuff set up, we'll know exactly what we're working with in terms of our zoned industry. The needs for the commercial. I think we probably will need to rezone some of the industrial that we placed before. We'll see how they get on. I'd like to think they'd be able to all have customers, but we'll check back up on them in a bit. For the meantime, we're going to get some more zoning in here, just along the main roads. Before we get in some smaller roads, we'll have a little look and see if we can fit a smaller road in the gap. No, not really. Be overlapping with these other roads, so we'll just get some dense residential along the main roads, and we'll get some smaller roads in so we can get some low density stuff as well. Just use this lower space where we've got this square, this upper space. I think we can just leave as is with the high density stuff. We'll go ahead and get a little bit more in, then we can get some small roads in, chop this up. Chop it up now before they all build in so they don't get unhappy. Bit more zoning around the outside of the block. Right now it's just a need for residential we've got, so I'm sure the need for commercial will get back up soon enough. Maybe get a touch in up towards the highway. We'll need it along there anyway. So we've got all this inner area covered. People building in and filling in this first square. I'm sure that'll be more than enough to keep them going. Get everything covered with water. I'll get the entire, all the way up to the edge of the boundaries of our city limits. Get this whole area covered. And we won't need to worry about it for a while. Loads of space to work with. Let it run for a bit. Can maybe get these roads upgraded while we're waiting for everyone to come in. I'll remember this time to use the one-way roads with the trees, not just roads of trees. Make sure everyone's going the right way around the roundabout. So let it run for a bit. We've got a little bit of need for commercial up again, so we'll get it in along that main road along the top. Thinking we can get in a little bit more on the other side of this road. We'll extend our small roads out a little bit over here. Don't want to come out too far. Leave plenty of room at the top for the roundabout. So just make an extra layer there. Maybe connect that through to our other small roads. This gives us room for a little bit more commercial. bigger roads on the edge of all the houses. Well, we're gaining students, little by little. Looks like it might be a while before we get up to the next level. Maybe in a couple of academic reports' time. Depends, we could just have a boom out of nowhere and suddenly go up a level and get a whole bunch more students. But if it's anything like the Academy of Arts, it'll certainly be a slow starter, and it looks that way. At least still in the first couple of reports we've got. So we'll get some small roads in here, get everything separated up, using the space as best we can. Again, we can leave some gaps for getting towards the centre of town, so it doesn't have to be perfect mirror images or perfect crisscross boxes. Try and get another sort of box along here. Down too far, so we'll extend and then get a road out and delete the tail. It's easier than trying to get the perfect distance. Keep deleting and remaking the same little bit of road. So we'll finish this off and get this divided the same way as I did before. Maybe have something different in this box. Maybe go for 2 roads there instead of 1. Again, mix it up and make it a little bit different, rather than being a carbon copy of the area below. That's that bit done. Maybe do some more on the other side of the highway when we need to as well. Keep connecting everything out that way, rather than completing this tile entirely before moving across. Another high school in, another elementary school. Make sure our services are good and we've still got coverage as we extend everything out. Got a librarian as well. Can give a boost to the elementary school. Some healthcare and fitness buildings in. If we get some sort of building here that can connect the power across to our high school, I'm waiting for the zone in. Yeah, it'll sit better up here. Don't really worry about service buildings too close to the roundabouts, so they have a pretty low level of traffic coming in and out of them. It's not something that's going to interfere. And pop in the driving range. It's one of the only in-game unique assets that has 0 noise pollution and doesn't affect the buildings round about. So we can drop that into any residential area. I think that's the only in-game asset you can do that with. Everything else has some sort of level of noise pollution. So we can get housing surrounding it, get this zoning in. Hopefully that'll carry across the power. We'll see how fast they build in. Looks like we might need to get another power station in, so we'll find a suitable location for that. We're still a ways off getting the fusion power plant, so we'll keep using our solar updraft towers. Let's get one in here where we know we've got industrial and commercial within earshot. Over here, we'll just make sure our zone in, yep, we're fine to put another one over here, tucked away next to our original farming industry. Should be fine. Yeah, we're getting there, we're doing pretty well. Slowly but surely, we'll get everything expanded out. Fill up these tiles. Get some more commercial along here for these guys on this side of the highway. got our police buildings. I don't think we've placed the intelligence agency. If we have, we can get another one down. Does seem like it's pretty noisy, so maybe get that moved rather than having it next to the end of the houses. We can surround it with commercial here to absorb the noise that it's going to let off. It's an opportunity for us to use more commercial over here. So we'll get a bunch of small roads in. Do the same up here. Get all this ready for zoning. Spent a lot of the last episode and a half putting down roads and not much else, so skip through bits. You get the gist, you see how they end up. That's the main thing. No magic to it. It's just time consuming. I'm gonna get the area sort of split up as best I can. Again, leaving sort of random gaps between things and making it line up slightly less than I would in previous squares. So we're getting close to the city centre. Can get a bit more creative. A bit more random looking. So that's just got this entire sort of strip that we can expand all our zoning out. Our power is connecting up there for our intelligence agency, but it still hasn't quite caught up with our high school. We can get a park in, see if that carries the power across. If not, we can use the bigger one. We can maybe get it placed over where we originally had the idea. Carry the power across. See if that does it. Yeah, we're all good. So I'm going to touch more low density residential in here. That'll give them plenty to be going on with. We're almost up at the 370. So I'll let it run. See how they get on, filling up that zoning. See if we can get a couple more thousand. So we've got through the next day. Got a couple of thousand more. Everything's going fine. We've got a slight need for commercial. Gonna let it go again until we get maybe the bar sort of halfway full. We'll get a decent need for the commercial. Then we'll do a little more zoning. So our bar is about half full. We want to be careful with our demand and our zoning, not to overzone, especially when you take the game past where it expects to go. Once you go beyond a 9-tile population, a lot of the time the simulation gets more fragile. You're more likely to get crashes, game crashes and things like that. The simulation just stops responding, and stops giving you any demand at all for anything. That can happen sometimes, and it's usually overzoning that gets you there. Or using something like the Demand Master mod and filling up things how you want rather than what's balanced based on the game's desires. So, as I say, especially when you get a higher and higher population and you're pushing it, you want to be mindful of the need and wait until there is a genuine desire. Wait till your demand bar is about half full before putting in some more zoning. Not to do like half a tile's worth of zoning all at once. Sometimes it all works out for you, but it takes ages of people building in and then finding that perhaps they don't have the right connections, or they don't have the services there, they don't have the staff or anything to maintain business. Well, we gained another 100 people, but it's not enough to take us up a reputation level. Slow and steady, we'll get there. Replace this section of housing with shops. Hopefully not annoy them too much with a bit of redevelopment. And carry on the commercial from our unique building, from our courthouse, along here, and I can divide up this area a bit, keep a balance, keep shops within range for everyone. Now we can add a bit more residential. Yeah, once we've got the roads in, it's a bit laborious. Then it's nice and easy just to zone away and let the simulation run. You'll be mindful of our intelligence agency here. Make sure to keep it well wrapped in commercial. Make sure there's no housing within the radius of the noise pollution. It helps with the high density commercial as well. Because sometimes they will, sometimes they won't, but sometimes they will complain about being too close to a busy shop, that's too noisy for them. It makes them sick, so best practice, I think, is to keep a layer of some other zone in between the low density housing and the high density commercial, but sometimes I've left it and it's fine. Other times when I've swung back, they've complained about the noise or sickness, and I've just changed it over. So we'll try that, we'll see how we go. As I say, we can always change things back over if people in the low density housing are complaining about the noise. We'll go around and top up the services, make sure that our coverage is good, and we don't neglect anything as we extend everything out. Get our garbage service topped up with a few more incinerators. It's one of the easiest things to keep on top of. They're so small, and even if you forget, you can usually find a space for one without having to delete anybody's property. So make sure our coverage is good for that. We can look at other services. Usually they'll give us icons to complain. We'll see what to top up, but let it run, let people come in. Our flight path looks pretty noisy. I don't think living there would be that great. Place looks lovely by night. We've got a desire for housing again. After letting it run for a couple of in-game days, got the population up to 384,000. So we're getting closer to that 400k before I start wanting to get to 425. Don't think we're going to get up to the 400 in this episode. That's certainly a target for next time. Just sort of extend our zoning down here. Get a little bit more in before we work across the highway. Again, I don't want to go too fast, especially with the housing. Avoid death waves and losing the demand altogether. Just sort of take it easy, give them little bits at a time. Looks like we've got a fire going on over here in one of our low density shops. Let's fill them with a bit more housing, then we'll come back and check. Should be, 30 seconds, 40 seconds I would say for a decent response time. It's not going to cause too much damage for the fire. I would expect to see the sirens of someone rolling up by now. That's maybe a sign that we need more fire coverage. Get a little bit more more zoning in here. And we'll give them another fire station if that place is still on fire. We'll just keep on with the commercial along the main road. We'll leave little gaps next to the roundabout, so the noise of the traffic going around the roundabout doesn't affect the low density housing. Yeah, it looks like we need to top up the fire service. So we'll get a couple of fire stations in. Get better coverage over here. We'll have a look around and see if there's any places that look as though they really need it. Yeah, it looks like we need one over here. Find somewhere relatively close. See if that helps them a bit. Well, I think it's a little bit better. Slightly better coverage for them. Maybe try and fit in one more here. And maximize the coverage without destroying anybody's houses. Another one nearby, but hopefully that's going to mean twice as many engines available. I think the police coverage is good. I think you generally need less police stations and police facilities than anything else in terms of the coverage. After putting in our intelligence agency, I think we're fine for that. Still got 24 sick citizens. We haven't got very many medical centres in lately, so maybe a few of them, and a few elder cares and child cares, that sort of thing. We've got a brown building here, which means they're 100% getting sick. It's probably the noise from our specialist commercial buildings, our tourism stuff, our hotels and things. So we'll replace where the buildings are darkest. We'll replace those buildings with a few healthcare buildings. Rather than putting healthcare stuff right next to them and hoping they get better, we'll just replace their house. It's a little severe. Might get us downvoted for a couple of cycles, but it's a 2-for-1, solving a problem. Over here as well, it's slightly discoloured, even though we've got a hospital here. There's not many other places that I've seen that have like sort of brown buildings, unless they're just coming in. When new buildings are coming in, they're brown right at the beginning, until they get set up properly with their water coverage and power coverage, etc. So don't be fooled by new buildings coming in. Other than that, any sort of discoloration, there's a slight discoloration around here. These high density residential things, which are probably coming from whatever zoning this is, the non-residential. So yeah, a few extra things popped in here. We'll give them a gym and a medical centre. Maybe we'll find another place for a clinic as well. See if we can spot any more discoloured buildings. Just try and top up all the services for them. I'll keep our growth rate strong, keep the numbers up, keep people coming in. Maybe want a couple along this main road. Don't like really destroying houses, but there's nowhere behind here that we're going to go. We should have had it covered before, so it's our bad. Yeah, our growth's gone into negative for a couple of cycles. We'll have to come back next time and find out if they forgive us and get back to coming in strong. So we're running out of time for today. So we'll get this graveyard in. We'll come back next time, see if we can add a few more services. Until then, take it easy, and I'll see you in the next one.